49 years and 2 weeks. It's coming to a close. It's a pretty long time at one school district.
It's a long time, but a good time.
Now, I understand you can remember one of those first few days when you walked in as a new employee.
Yes, I remember walking up on the porch of the district office at 522 East Main Street. I had a yellow dress on. I weighed 118 pounds. I wish I could go back to those days. But I remember walking in and nobody knew me except the man who was employing me. So there were only about 13 people in the district office at that time.
And that man had been one of your principals?
He was. It was Grady Lane, and he had been the principal of Central Elementary School, where I had attended my grades 1 through 8. And he remembered me and offered me the job.
And that was as a secretary?
That was as a secretary in June of 1966, June the 5th, 1966.
Now, over 49 years, I know there's a lot of memories. What are a couple things, though, that stand out that will be special to you?
Well, of course, you have to say the people. You know, I met so many wonderful people. But I do remember the time when we integrated our schools. That was a special time. I remember when they raised Rock Hill High School, the Rock Hill High School on East White Street. I remember watching that big boom come down and just knock it down in a matter of seconds. You know, there's just so many wonderful memories. I worked for 10 superintendents, and they all brought to the table different strengths and everything. So, and I've seen so many of our students succeed, and that's the most joyous thing about, you know, is seeing the kids that our teachers have taught, and they do so well, and they represent us so well.
What will you miss?
I'll miss really the time factor. The time factor. I found that early on I was out in the schools an awful lot, 14, 16-hour days a lot of times, and you know, lots and lots of meetings. I've always said I don't know how we get anything done with the number of meetings we have. But, you know, just the time factor, being away from my family and everything, and, you know, so that's the biggest issue. I mean, the work is work. Work is work. And I've never minded a challenge, but the time factor has been pretty significant.
Now, I understand you're going to be investing some time back in your family. You've got some travel plans.
I do have some travel plans. I'm not a summer person. Don't like the heat, so my husband and I have some plans to travel in the fall. We want to go up the eastern seaboard and come back down by Maine, and then in the spring we want to do the same thing on the western coast and everything.
And I understand while you'll be leaving the school, schools will never be too far from your heart.
Yeah, no, they can't be too far from my heart. You can't work 49 years, over 49 years, and just forget, you know, the opportunities that you were afforded and the people that you work with. That's just not possible. And, you know, for a number of years I was a mentor to some elementary children, and I may just get back and do that again.
And you also want to do some learning yourself, though.
Of course, you know, when you stop learning, you stop growing. You know, I was taught that early on. So, you know, I like a lot of things. You know, I don't know what all I'll be getting into, but I do know that I'd like to learn Spanish again. I learned it for a time, and then, you know, I forgot it. But I'd love to learn some conversational Spanish again. I'd love to learn to do some different kind of cooking than just the kind that makes you fat all the time.
Now, I've seen that a lot of the apples that have been collected over time have been packed up, but that's a special memory you take with you.
Yes, that's a very special memory. Years and years ago, somebody brought me an apple, and it just sort of became a symbol for my office. And I'm taking with me probably over 200 apples of all sorts and sizes, switch plates, just everything you can imagine. And they were all gifts from teachers, administrators, and just some parents along the way, so they mean a good bit to me.